Welcome to episode
70!
Wow. First of all, 70.
70.
Okay, 70.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And it's about
fun! Because witches just want to have fun.
Join us as we explore just the ways in which fun is so important to our lives. So important that rats, shrews, hamsters, even slugs and snails have fun.
We'll chat about it both in scientific terms as well as in our own lives, mundane and witchy.
Stay
tuned.
Welcome to the Witchy Wit podcast, where we look at life through a witchy lens. I'm Kimberlyn.
I'm Leilani.
At Witchy Wit, we explore current events,
Ideas,
music and books,
and experiences in ways that recognize energy and life in everybody and everything.
We are both real witches.
And we bring two real perspectives through the lens of our different ages,
Races,
and backgrounds.
with a healthy skepticism for what we have been told is true. Our conversations are raw, candid, and vulnerable.
Join us as we cast a spell to uncover what we each know is true in our intuitive, witchy selves.
Welcome to episode 70.
Fun!
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 Woohoo! Fun! Yeah, so we'll talk a lot about,
Fun.
About fun. And, yeah.
Yeah, fun in how we experience fun as humans, as witches. What's fun? Why is fun important?
Yeah,
Lots of good stuff.
But before we talk about fun, let's talk about what we've been doing since the last time we recorded.
Sounds great.
Would you like to start us
Yeah,
out? Okay.
I'd love to.
Okay.
So I wanted to check in and say that I just find it really interesting the way that certain types of technology have impacted my life in ways that I don't even really notice. So I'm on TikTok for Witchy Wit. As the director of social media.
Yes, you are indeed, and I bow to your superior knowledge and experience.
So I'm on TikTok for Witchy Wit. I don't have like a personal account, but I have the Witchy Wit account. But so I get on and I check it every once in a while just to respond to messages and also to post stuff. And it has done a wonderful job of curating videos to me. And one of the things that I get curated for me on my For You page is Halloween shopping. So like TikTok was great. TikTok let me know that called it Code Orange. So I somehow got on the Code Orange side of TikTok, which is wonderful. And so I started going Halloween shopping in June.
You just stop it.
I will not. I will not stop. So I started going Halloween shopping in June. I had an experience where TikTok told me that Cracker Barrel was going to start getting Halloween stuff. And so I showed up to Cracker Barrel on my way downtown because there's one on my way downtown from where I live. And I showed up and I went in and I was looking for a particular ornament that they had in their Halloween thing that I had seen on TikTok. And so I'm looking around. I don't see it, but I did see something. I found witch earrings for my sister that I thought she would like because they were purple and her work is purple. So I took them up front and the woman was like, bleep, did you find everything okay? Like as the standard question. I said, oh, no, I was looking for this ornament and blah, blah, blah. And she said, oh, honey, those sold out at the beginning of the day. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, we open at 7. And when I got here, there was 20 people waiting outside.
No!
For the doors to open. And we did, X amount of business just in Halloween sales within the first hour, like thousands of dollars.
What?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, and here I am thinking like, look at me.
Here I am thinking June.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm like in this elite club, that I went in June. And like, I find out that there are people waiting for the doors to open.
Who are also in the elite club. Well, so you are in the elite club.
Who are they?
But I know.
And I want to be friends with them.
I know.
So,
but they were hardcore. See,
yes.
You were just you were lax.
Yeah.
You were just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Slacker, Leilani, let's just go get some stuff.
Right. They got
they packed snacks.
They did.
They probably had like Pampers on and stuff so that they wouldn't have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
They were waiting in line, ready for the door to open so that they could make sure they got their Halloween shit. They were not fucking around.
They were not fucking around. They inspire me.
Yeah.
So all summer I have been to I went to anytime I saw something on TikTok that would pop up Code Orange, I would go, including Joanne Michaels, At Home, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. And my recent thing is at Home Goods, there is a cauldron diffuser.
No. No. Okay, I've got to go. Okay, thank you for alerting me to that.
Yes, so there's a cauldron diffuser that the space where the mist comes up has a red light, so it looks like flames. But I cannot find one. Because the thing with Home Goods is a lot like those other discount stores. You get what you get, and it's random.
If you do see them and there is an extra one, get it for me. Yes. I will, whatever the cost.
People, that's like $16.99. Okay. People who are listening, if you go to Home Goods and you find a cauldron, please purchase it. Let us know, and I will pay you for the cauldron
and
shipping and all that,
and a little something for your time.
Because I put it out on my social media stories yesterday. I took a picture of it, of the TikTok post, and I said, please, people all of my friends, please go to Home Goods and look for this for me. I will pay you, please. So,
well, it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was just talking to someone a few days ago, and they said that Michael's actually had some really more sensitive, less kitschy, but more sensitive, witchy Halloween stuff. I don't know if you noticed that or not, and they said that they were inspired to kind of do some more investigation around this because of our podcast from last year where we went to various places. Yeah, but they mentioned that to me, that they were, and so I haven't had a chance to go, but it's probably gone now
because of people like me.
Because of who knew? I do. That if you want to get your Halloween stuff, you got to get it in June.
Yeah, that's where I'm starting.
And you think seasonally, right? That makes sense because things that by the time you're a week before, everything's picked over. Of course, you can get some really good deals if something's left that you actually want. But that makes sense,
Michael's had a really great poster. It was very large. I don't know, 3-ish feet. I'm really bad at spatial reasoning, so please nobody come at me. But I think it was 3 or 4-ish feet, 3-ish feet tall, and a couple feet wide. It was a larger poster, and it was it said witch, and then it said all these really beautiful things I care about nature, and
yes, that's what they were talking about.
Okay,
yes,
yeah. I saw that and I looked at it and I thought, well, damn, I feel seen.
Yes, exactly. It's not just a wart on your chin and stuff.
Yeah. I was like, damn, I feel seen.
Yeah.
I also don't need this piece of art. And I'm where can I put this? I can't. I don't need it. But dang, I really like it. Yeah. So.
It's amazing when you start to see kind of not just the kitsch, but when they're actually kind of reflecting the people who would really, really get into that, not just for a few days out of the year, but they would actually the season starts in about a month or so. So some people are really, just as with, it is a holiday. And so people would decorate and it sounds like they were being a little bit more, I don't know, respectful, or at least they're recognizing that that's a market that they could sell to.
Exactly.
Which is fine.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
They're in retail sales. That's, they're not here, it's not charity.
Yeah.
They're not here to supply us with our ritual items.
Yeah.
So, yay!
So there we go. Code Orange.
Code Orange.
The Code Orange season starts July 5th.
Okay, now we know.
So there you go.
July 5th.
For the day after when they put away the 4th of July stuff.
So red, white, blue, orange, and black.
Yes, red, white, blue, orange, black.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
All right, so that was my check-in. What about you?
So I think I might have mentioned this the last time, but because of some other issues that arose after my trip, I didn't really get a chance to talk about my trip to Ireland, which was fabulous. And I might have mentioned this to you before, but one of the things that I realized about myself, I think, I can't remember, it wasn't Oscar Wilde, but it was someone who was probably Irish, who talked about how when you travel, you learn a lot about other places and people, but you actually really learn a lot about your own self and your place, and I found that to be true. And so in traveling, one of the things I really kind of thought about myself, but I wouldn't have articulated it, was the fact that I am very much into place obviously music as a reflection of place, history, long-standing place, but history and nature. I know this sounds like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But when you travel, you have a lot of choices about what you want to do. So I'm not going to go into all the choices I had, but the things that really jazzed me was going to the Cliffs of Moher, where you're just sitting up there. I mean, there's these incredible pictures. Maybe I'll put a link to one, or Google it. Cliffs, Moher, the Cliffs of Moher, and it's just magnificent. Of course, the day we went, it was raining. There was like 60 miles per hour gusts of wind.
Jeez.
I was wearing a poncho because an umbrella would be useless. So I was wearing a poncho, and the poncho kind of functioned as a sail. So it kind of pushed me along, and I'm not a small person. So as it pushed me along, I kind of gathered people up under my wings. And little people, so small people, they had to link arms because the wind would have literally picked them up. Yeah. At least I had some ballast, working here. But yeah, so it was incredible. Just the vistas and just the things that you saw. And even on I took a bus there, even on the bus ride there were all of these amazing sites in terms of there was this one place it was going up the Atlantic coast of Ireland, and so all of these wonderful vistas. I'm not even going to talk about all the places, but so that just totally excited me. But then there was one part we were in the Dublin Castle. And I learned a lot about Dublin. In fact, that it had always been there. I think it was Picts or Celts who were originally there. But when the Vikings came, that's when Dublin really took off because they used it as an outpost.
Oh.
And so it really grew because they can get to Dublin through the river Liffey, whatever. And then the Dublin itself was on a lake. And they called it, I think the word Dublin means dark water or still water or something like that in Norse, in Old Norse. And so, but as with many, we see this in Rome, we see this in a number of different places, ancient places, as the towns grow and grow, they build up and up and up. And so what happens is a lot of these places are at what we'd consider basement level or even lower, right? And because things just kind of grow up around them. And so when you go to Dublin Castle, they've had an archaeological dig where they've dug through the bottom of the castle to where, so I should have said that this lake has gradually been covered over. And so the only way you can see it was at this archaeological dig where they broke through the floor, and part of it you can see this water, and you can also see the old Viking walls around this place that later became Dublin Castle. I know, isn't it amazing? So just that sense of 1,000 years ago, this was there, and at that time this was ancient, right? They chose that place because it had a sense of place, and it was a good center for commerce, etc., or Viking raids, I guess they were but they had a great deal of commerce, yeah. So I just thought that things like that amazed me, and I love the churches, but after a while, one church kind of looks the same. I loved going into the crypts of the churches because that's where that's where the bodies are, and literally that's where the bodies are, and that's the ancient part, and you go in, and that's the part where for me, if I want to get a sense of the people, I can get a sense of where they are now. These fun-loving, for the most part, fun-loving people who love to sing, love to drink. I drank more beer and ale and stout in 1 week than I had the previous 3 years, because it's such a social thing, just going to the pub and all that sort of stuff. So we have these fun-loving people who love to sing and dance, boy howdy, and you can kind of see where they came from. You can see some of the threads of history that made them the way they are today. It was just amazing. And one of the things, and you've gotten a chance to enjoy this, is that one of the things that totally blew me away is bog oak, and the idea that millennia ago Ireland was covered with all these oak trees, which when the climate changed, they fell into these peat bogs and they were preserved there. And now people are pulling this wood out. When it hits the air, it oxidizes, and it does other things too, but let's just call it that. And they use it to make decorative pieces and jewelry, as you know, and things like that. I just think it's so wonderful.
It felt powerful holding it.
Oh my gosh, I have one that I think I showed. Did I show you
the tray-ish
the
thing?
tray? Yeah, that I put my crystals in, and between the crystals and the wood itself, I think it's just becoming more and more imbued, and so I think after a while, when I go into my bedroom, like probably my head will explode because of the power from these things. But anyway, the power comes from the ancient nature of the original material, and then the fact that it's crafted lightly by someone who lives in this place where this comes from, you know? I love those types of connections, and I love kind of diving into those little those rabbit holes.
Yeah. I just think it's cool that when you travel, the souvenir you bring home is a big piece of tree.
Wood. Yes, indeed.
Tell me you're a witch without telling me you're a witch. Look at my souvenir. Piece of tree.
It's a piece of wood. Yes, indeed. I'm putting a check mark in that box. Yes, but yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, that's my extremely long check-in. Was that I had such a blast in Ireland, and I sang and drank beer and sang Irish folk songs and watched some Irish dancing and all that kind of stuff, and ate good food.
I would love to be over there and witness you singing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really know all the songs, but I knew one. I said, I'm going to know one Irish song, so when they got to it, I could sing along. So I did.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. So shall we talk a little bit about, speaking of fun, talk about some more fun.
Let's talk about more fun. And I would like to tell a little story.
Sure.
To get us kicked off.
Sure.
So, we plan ahead to do this recording. So I show up, and you and I are gathering our stuff to get ready. We're getting everything organized. And we received a call. I received a call on my cell phone from another woman from our circle. You can find her episode, Pagan Feminist Astrologer. That's her. Mm-hmm. So she calls, and so I answered the phone on speakerphone because you know her as well. And so we started talking to her over the phone, and she said she had a question for us about this ritual we have coming up, and she asked us about putting together like a playlist all about pleasure and play.
Yes.
And yeah. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like
this is a lot of people are thinking about this right now. And could it be because it's the summer?
It could be.
It could be. And well, not all of us are academics, but the summer is associated maybe with play, and if you're not going to have fun now, now granted, it's 110 degrees outside right
also
now.
That. Yeah.
But still, the long held associations with summer is that idea of if you can't have fun during the summer, you're just not a fun loving person, right?
Yeah. And I like to think that we were on some sort of vibe with her, totally. Witchy. Yeah. Circle sharing vibe.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just love moments of synchronicity like that.
I do too. I do too.
And also, so this is going to impact the way that I'm going to approach our episode. Thinking about fun as pleasure and play is like a really cool couch like to put that in. So.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump
let's
into
do
that.
it.
Because one of the things, we tend to choose topics that are interesting for us and significant for us, etc. And so as we think about, fun, one could assume that, pretty much everyone has fun. Like, why would we talk about it? But I think it's because fun is an important part of our lives, and we're just articulating something that may not necessarily get a lot of play. And in fact, it was funny when we decided to do this, I found an article on it. So, and I'm going to quote talk a little bit about some of the stuff in the article, because it's one of the things that kind of quote unquote goes without saying. Well, maybe it should be said. So let's talk a little bit about why fun is important.
As somebody who likes data, I'm really excited to hear what you have to say.
Okay. Well, so I found an article in Johns Hopkins magazine, I guess.
Research nerd.
I was just looking, what I was looking for, I wanted to start with, what's like the definition of fun. And it was, I can't even remember. It was like, oh, ho-hum. And then I found this article. It's like, and then I said, well, there's no definition there. But I kept just keep scrolling, keep scrolling. So it's fascinating. Okay?
I think so.
So one of the reasons that fun is important is because it developed out of an evolutionary need. Like the idea being that you're going to do something that's pleasurable, And so by making things that are necessary for survival pleasurable, then you're going to survive.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. So things like eating, sleeping, I guess, having sex.
I could see like grooming. You know, because like it feels good to like have my hair brushed.
You were just doing your hair.
I just did like a hairbrush motion.
Yeah, and I felt a moment of love.
Yeah, like getting like I'm imagining the way that like women would sit around and like groom each other, and you pull lice out of each other's hair and stuff. And it feels good, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but like when people play, I mean, if you play with my hair, I will do anything.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay.
Anything.
Okay.
Like play with my hair and be like, "Can I have $1 million?" Absolutely.
Okay, now you know, friends. So the key. So yeah. So this is from the article, but the idea is that the pleasure pathway has evolved so that you can just do the things again and again and again that's necessary to survive. And so eating, drinking, and having sex. I think I said sleeping, but sleeping too.
Yeah.
They're beneficial, so that they're beneficial to your survival. So that reward pathway is going to be expanded and going to be expanded and just developed evolutionarily.
I imagine too, like playing with somebody else, you're bonding and connecting.
Oh yeah,
you know, which especially back when we lived in like little tribes of people in caves. You know, like I would want the person that shares the cave with me to care about me.
Yeah. So
like through that pleasure and play, like.
Oh, well,
we form bonds.
Well, many of our social ties are evolutionary. So the idea being is that, if we're out there with saber-toothed tigers and mammoths wandering around, a tribe has a group of people has a better chance of survival than one person. So a lot of, in some cases, maybe not necessarily evolutionarily practical behaviors today were necessary then. The idea you have to really subsume into the group because if they don't like you, they will leave you behind and you will be alone and you will die. You will
be saber-tooth food.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about some just health mechanisms and some of the Brene Brown talks about the idea that when we develop some of these personality traits or whatever behaviors, it was because of these evolutionary pathways in our lives. So we can keep that in mind and maybe it'll help us to be a little bit more understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the idea, so one thing that I think is so important is that the reason that we they cause pleasure is that they cause an actual chemical reaction in our body that is enjoyable. And so all of those acts are going to just make us feel good. And so we're going to keep doing those. So we're going to keep eating because that'll keep us alive. It's having sex because we've kind of flipped it nowadays. But
yeah.
It's really just an evolutionary behavior, everybody. We're just doing it to keep the species alive. So if you want to think about it that way. But one of the things that I think is important, I just want to mention this, is, we see this, that we can artificially induce some of those chemicals. So you can do it with drugs. One of the less chemically oriented way of doing that is running. So everyone talks about the runner's high, getting the endorphins. And so they did a study, and I just think this is fascinating, where they talk about the laboratory mice and how they always have them on those hamster wheels, or I guess hamsters are also on hamster wheels, hence the name. And then they'll often have them do a behavior. But what happens, what they have learned is that some of these mice will run as much as like 10 to 12 miles on these wheels. Jeez. And that long, it often starts as a way of getting food or some sort of reward. But after a while, the behavior itself, they get a runner's high. And so they'll actually stop the wheel and the mouse will stay in there and while it's just kind of going around on its own, just kind of like, woo, woo, woo. And long after they've rewarded them, they'll still like climb in there and then just run on their own, like off the clock.
So mice are better athletes than me. Is what I hear you saying. I hate running.
Oh my God. So people, if you see me running, you need to be running
right?
too.
Because that's the only reason I will run. And I only have to run fast enough to be faster than the others. So
So whatever's chasing you will get them
Yes,
first. That's
exactly.
right, exactly. And then it's like, oh, thank God.
Right.
I'm like, sorry.
Right, the zombie ate. I can stop now. Okay.
No, it's so true. It's and I have run, and I like having run, and I like when it's done. There's never been a period where I've been, and I did a mini triathlon, and there has never been a period when I actually said, this is fun. Like, I've never been that person. I don't think I have the body for it, but whatever. But there are people who say, oh, I get it. That has,
it's my meditation. Like, I put my music in. It's me and the road or whatever and the nature around.
Nope.
No.
I miss that gene. Like, all the mice have it. All the runners have it.
Not me.
But Kimberlyn does not have it.
No, I have one leg that's longer than the other. I look like an idiot when I run. And you really want to see something funny? Put me on an elliptical machine. It's like the like when it's like,
oh no, it's not pretty.
No.
Okay, well, so there we go. But we like to walk. We like to hike. So, because out in the woods, no one cares.
That's true.
Maybe the bear cares because he's like, okay, I think I can get her. I can bring her down.
The bear I'm trying to outrun.
Exactly. I think I can get her. So yeah. So
well, that's really cool about the mice. That's really neat that they like that they like it. That they find
like it. Yes.
pleasure in it.
Yeah. So they may have started it to get a treat or to whatever the reward was, but then that became their reward. Maybe if we ran 12 miles. But see, we've got to get over that hump, where I've never run enough to allow those endorphins. I don't see, this is the thing, is I don't think they're going to kick in for me. That's because like I said, I did the mini triathlon, but maybe not. So anyway, but the point is that rats, shrews, frogs, slugs.
What?
Yes, and snails. Because I love how they put run, ran, or oozed along the wheel as well.
Holy moly!
Yes. So it said, even after researchers removed the food, many of these animals return to the wheel like miniature fitness buffs.
Whoever wrote this article, I appreciate.
I really appreciate
their voice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So I had a pet cow back in high school. Whenever I did, actually, I'm vegetarian because of that cow. But in high school, we raised cattle, and there was one cow that I had as a pet, and so she was socialized way more than the other cows. Like, I would pull in from getting back from school, and I would pull up, and she would see me. She'd be up in the back pasture, and she would come running down the hill to get to the gate, like near closest to like where I parked my car, because she would want to see me. So then I would get out of my car, I'd go over there, I'd pet her. So she was just way more social, but she loved to play. She played, like she would run, and she connected. I had a poodle at that time. She would play. She thought she was a poodle. So, like, her and my poodle would, like, play together, but, like...
Oh, how sweet!
Because I think when I thought of cows, I thought of, like, these dumb things that just kind of stand on the side of the road and stare at you as you, but she had such a personality, and she played, and she would, like, she would mess with me, she'd, like, run up and, like, challenge me, and then, like, run around and, like, ha-ha, and, like, kick her feet, and, like, want to be pet, but... I mean, even cows play is the point.
So I don't know if this was in this article or something else I read. Did they talk about dogs as opposed to wolves?
No.
So the difference is puppy wolves, whatever they're called, wolflets or whatever, and puppy dogs behave the same way. But after a certain time, wolves become a lot less playful, whereas dogs, because we've bred them to stay puppy-like for longer, because that's the dogs who pleased us the most were usually that type of personality. So they evolved away from wolves because of that, and then we then started to humans started to kind of interfere with the breeding and to kind of prioritize those types of behaviors. So dogs stay playful pretty much all their lives because we've bred them that way. We've reinforced that behavior. Whereas wolves, they've got to like eat. They become grown-ups.
Yeah,
right? They've got to like, get out there and work.
Yeah.
but I think about that. So your cow, had she stayed with the other cows, would have been, let's eat some grass.
Yeah.
It's, stand by the fence.
Yeah.
But because she was with you, who was playful, and your dog, who was playful. Your dog, yes. And she thought she was either you or the
Yeah, she thought
poodle.
she was a poodle, yeah.
Yeah. So that part of her personality was prioritized, was rewarded. Isn't that amazing?
That is so interesting. What the hell happened to cats?
I don't think cats ever. I think their fun is just on a totally different level from humans and dogs.
Yeah, their fun is fucking with me.
Yes, exactly. Their fun is like, yeah, come here. Yeah. So, yeah, but it's, so as we talk about fun, we're talking about what we know. We're just talking from our experience.
It's true.
And your mileage may vary. Your experience might be different, and we'd love to hear from you. With your ways in which you'd like to expand the conversation. But yeah, cats are, I can't even begin. We need to get some of our cat friends in, because they could probably explain better, what the pleasure pathways are for cats. Because,
I'm a dog person.
I'm a dog person. And I had cats who quickly realized that if life was going to be easy in the household, that they'd best, really kind of toe the line and be as dog-like as possible.
Yes.
And it worked for us.
Yeah.
It worked for us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, would you like to talk about the ways we have fun, or would you like to talk about how fun is witchy? Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do how is fun witchy.
How is fun witchy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Yeah, so let's start with, I'd like to start with those pleasure pathways again, right? Because the same thing that makes fun in the mundane world, there's probably some correlation, right? So what are the things that are pleasurable for you in a witchy scenario?
That's a great question. Energy.
No. Instead of you answering the question, let me answer the question. So how would Leilani have fun in a witchy?
Okay.
So I would guess movement.
Yes.
Energy.
Yes.
Some sort of elemental association.
Absolutely.
Maybe some singing in community with other people.
Yes. Thank you. I love the way you couched that. Yes. All this done with me by myself sounds very sad. Hence, my practice during COVID was very sad.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking, okay, when I'm by myself, so it's so fun. Okay, this is a sidebar. So, in another group I belong to, I've been doing. We have rituals, and the last two rituals, I don't normally do them a lot during the school year because school year, but during the summer, it's like give me the rituals, give me the rituals. And the past two times, the women I've been working with, one had some health issues, another one had some family issues, and I ended up doing a lot of it by myself. I was loving it. It was like, I would say, what do you think? And they'd say, oh yeah, it looks great, because they were like so overwhelmed. Yeah. So it was like, it's everything I wanted to be in the ritual. Like they would throw in some great ideas and I'd incorporate those. And so when you're talking about, okay, I love being around people, it's like, I love just planning all of this on my own because it could be exactly what I want it to be. So, okay. That's why we have two different witches, two different perspectives. So is there anything that I missed that you'd like to add?
Oh, gosh.
That's witchy fun for you?
Did you say anything with my body?
I said movement, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah. I guess anything embodied, like if I'm physically feeling the fire, or I am wearing like velvet, or like, so just anything like embodied. If we're eating an orange, mindfully, so anything physically embodied.
Yes. Yeah.
The trancing and stuff like that is like harder for me. I can do it, but I it's not as pleasurable, but anything where I'm embodied.
Oh, gotcha. So if there was a trance where there was a lot of movement involved and things like that. Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll try to make sure that works.
And I do want to couch, because you said energy work. It is all types of energy work. So it can be like low energy or high energy, but it just anything to do with energy. So that's me. What about you?
So for me, I think what's fun for me that I don't get a lot of out in the world, I get it a lot when I'm by myself in my house because I can do whatever I want. Hey! Is the mystery. So the what's fun for me and we talked about this when we talked about the high priestess. Mm-hmm. The idea of there's all of this arcane occult in occult meaning as in obscured from the normal eye, so not easily apparent. All of this stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And I think you said it was like an onion. Like you get through one set of veils, and then there's another set, and so for me, the mystery of magic and energy, and how we shape it in ritual and community, because it's harder for me to do it by myself. Anyway,
I'm like, it's harder for me to do it by myself. Woohoo!
So there's a reason I go to the well. But to me, that's my pleasure pathway. Mm-hmm. So just when anytime we're sitting in a room and we like look at a finger and say it's a wand or something, the minute we start transmuting things, I'm there. I'm like that rat, like put me on the wheel. I can stay here for, the next 5 hours or whatever. That, I think that's a lot of it for me. And it's energetic. So as we talk about mystery, for me, a lot of it is the energy. And again, the way we go through the veils changes or differs depending on like the energy level and maybe the goal or objective of the energy. But it's that whole process of just like diving into something that I don't get necessarily in my bathroom while I'm scrubbing my toilet. Though apparently a lot of people can get there, and I, if I tried, I probably could, but it's harder for me. But that to me, that's the reward. That's when I'm like, I'm there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just kind of giving you a stare because I'm like, yeah.
It's so much fun. Yes, it's so much fun. It's so yeah. So what I love are rituals that allow that to happen. So and this is just a sidebar. So when we have sometimes we have some really fussy rituals.
What do you mean by fussy?
A lot of moving parts. So,
yes.
There's okay. When it's time to call the elements, we have to light a candle, turn to the east, then we have to say the thing, and we have to be that thing. You can't be kind of going off and doing whatever. Yeah. You have to say that thing, and then everyone has to say something, and then you say something back. So where I can't dive in, I have to stay kind of linear. That keeps that from happening for me because I love to plan rituals where everybody else is doing stuff, and I just basically I can just sit on my fat happy ass and just kind of like drop, right? So so that's, I think that fussy stuff.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. It is nice having rituals with open time because that does allow, or like freedom to experience the way that I uniquely do. And I think our circle is really good at that normally. Like I think most of our rituals do that. I've been to some other communities' rituals where it's like almost ritual theater where the people are doing it in front and you just
front
observe.
And center. Yeah. So can I do a caveat?
Yeah.
So one ritual that I think, and there are a lot others. So I said I didn't want a whole lot of moving parts, but you did a ritual that had a whole lot of moving parts, but they built on each one. And I think what it was that each person added to the next thing. It was our moon, and we ended up outside singing moon.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you had like 18 people involved in that or something, and everybody.
It was simultaneously very complex, but also very simple. You're right. Yeah.
So there were a lot of things, but I didn't have to worry about all of those things. I just had to worry about my one part. Somebody would throw a shoe and it was my turn or whatever, and then we could do that. We could do the thing. And what I loved about it was each thing was like a layer. So we were building the energy. There we go.
There we go. That's what it all comes back to for me.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I just remember kind of like losing my mind staring. And was it a full moon? It was a full moon.
It was a full moon.
And we were kind of like the Who's in Whoville.
Yes,
we
were.
Moon, and just kind of like all moving at the same time. And I
don't remember what they sing, but they're like, ba boo da re, ba boo da re. welcome Christmas. I can see the Who's like we're just like out there with me. Fun fact: when I plan ritual, the first thing I do is I Google what the phase of the moon is going to be, if there's any holidays for any cultures on that day. Yeah.
Bam.
That's always my place to start.
Bam. Okay, because you do research.
I do, because I want to jump in on an energy pattern that's already in place. Like, why not jump on that? That's right.
Yeah. Why reinvent why like build the energy when there's already some energy?
Then I'm going
to
hop on that.
Yeah. Sweet.
So,
okay.
Anyways.
Okay. So that's witchy.
Yeah. Okay. So why is like having fun and stuff like that in ritual important? For me, it adds power. Mm-hmm. And I know that not all churches are like this, but I'm thinking about the church that I grew up in. You know, you were sit there silently, not quietly, silently, you know, and then you said what you were supposed to say because it was printed on the thing, you know, and then and there was not, I'm sure there was lots of love and good things, but there was not joy and pleasure.
It definitely not any spontaneity.
Yes, there was not play.
Add yourself to the thing.
Yeah, and so it's very novel to me to be in a faith where joy and pleasure and laughter are encouraged, and they deepen the magic.
Yes. All acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. From the Charge of the Goddess. Woo-hoo.
I love that so much.
Yes. Yeah. So that pleasure is rewarded. That joy is a part of the goal. It's a part of the goal. And the more, just as we said, the more you're going to enjoy something, the more you're going to do it. Right. So. Yeah.
I love that idea of like all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Like when we're on retreat and we're eating food together and it is delicious and healthy and nutritious and we're sitting together and there's that moment where we all start to eat and we're like, this is, oh my gosh, this is so, you know, and then feeling that pleasure in my body, but also feeling that pleasure in community.
Yes.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to come back to this over and over again.
Yeah.
My body and community are like two big things for fun and pleasure for me. So feeling that with the other people around me is so powerful.
Yeah. And it's reinforcing. So one of the things we talked about in one of our, I think it was about ritual planning or something, or energy or whatever, was that while all the individual people may have like a slightly different perspective, why they're there, what their goal is, the energy that we're throwing into it just helps us all. So it's never, I don't feel as if it's cross purposes. Like I might be saying, okay, I really want to do some internal work. And you might be saying, I want to send my energy out to the border or something like that. But it's the generation of energy and throwing it in the pot that's going to help me do my stuff and help you do your stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And because we're both enjoying and pursuing our own goals and desires, we're getting that reward, we're getting that fun. And I think that's going to ramp the energy up too.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, yeah.
One of my favorite times I think about laughter and ritual was with, we had him on our podcast a long time ago, Zan. I think, I don't remember what the title of that is. Something about Sufi
mystic witch or
something. Yeah. But he was on our show and we were at a like a week-long retreat together, and we were doing a ritual, and we were wearing body paint, and so because we were wearing a lot of body paint, it's in the summer, but it's in a place that's very cold at night, you know, even though it's summer, like it's freaking cold at night.
It's very cold there.
So we had, we were both wearing minimal clothing and then had a lot of body paint and stuff on, and it was freezing. And where we got ready was very far away from where the ritual circle was. And so we were, we had grounded, we had centered, we were ready to go for the ritual. And we're like running through the redwoods, in like very small amounts of clothing. Woo-hoo! And we are like freezing, but we're like laughing, and we were joking. Like I think we kept saying like, it's for the goddess, but we were just like laughing, and it was so fun. And we're running, and then we get to the ritual space, and when we ground and we center again, but all of that laughter, it intensified our magic. It's one of the most magical experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
The most powerful experiences.
I can imagine, yeah.
Because we were right up next to the fire, which is like for energy raising is really amazing. Also, that's why we weren't wearing very many clothes.
Yes.
You know, because I was sweating.
You knew that you were going to be there, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like not wearing many clothes.
And may I add, you also ran to get there?
We did. So. So there you go. I don't run unless it's like something like this, right?
So there was that too. You may not have necessarily checked that box in your brain that added to the experience.
It did.
Just saying.
It did.
But now we know. You know.
Kind of feel put in my place about running.
See?
Moment.
Well, I think you kind of need like the parkour kind of effect. Like you need to be bouncing off of rocks.
That is true.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not just running like, okay, I'm going to run in a straight line.
Oh yeah, witchy fun is different. So like things in witchy worlds can be fun that might not be in other spaces.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
So maybe I should try running. Nah.
Oh yeah. So running to get to ritual. Thumbs up.
Yeah. But just running out in the real
thumbs
world.
Down for me.
No.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you're not running on a street, dodging, like, whatever.
Yeah.
You're in the redwoods.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're running by streams and with people who are wearing body paint.
I mean,
it's like, stop.
Add some body paint and everything's better.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So, like, what might be some stuff that we do in the witchy world that brings us joy and pleasure that's fun, that maybe not in the mundane world?
Oh, that's not in the mundane world. Because, everything that we do in the mundane world that we do in the witchy world is just ramped up. So like you said, food, when we have our potlucks and everyone brings stuff and it's like, what, I think one time, this would have been maybe 10 years ago, everyone brought cheese. Like just different variants of cheese. I'm not going to speak for what our lives were like the next morning, but that was, and we laughed and we talked about the infinite varieties of cheese, because I don't think anyone brought the exact same thing.
I love that.
But you can still have I think we can still do the stuff that pleases us in the mundane world, and they're actually sacralized. They're made more sacred. So that's going to be something. But then there's just things that you do in ritual that you don't do. So, I mean, how often, no, not you, but someone else in real life, like out in the mundane world, how often do they call energy into their bodies? Like channel it, do stuff with it, and then send it somewhere, right? I mean, just the energy pouring into your body, and then you're doing stuff with it, and then you're sending it out. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful fun for me. You know?
The permission for me to move my body in a way that whatever way I want to move it without needing to appear sexy or cool or like,
not dorky.
Yeah, stylistically appropriate in some way, depending on the genre of music, like all of that. Like I can pleasing to somebody else's eye. When I'm in ritual space, I can set all of that aside. And move my body in whatever way I want, and it feels so good.
Yes, and I am going to throw this out for consideration. Those pleasure pathways that we've been talking about, I think that they're widened and they're deepened when we're in sacred space. I think everything that we do is heightened, but just think about how, if you're doing something that is remotely pleasurable, when it's sacralized, when we're doing it in circle, I just think that it's like instead of having a little sip from a fountain, it's like a water hose.
Yeah.
And the water hose, like just trying to drink from a water hose. That's kind of the effect. Yeah.
I don't have any data to this, but I'm curious what that does to our relationships, to the people because I'm deepening those pleasure pathways in proximity to you, or I'm thinking of other women that we're going to go see the Barbie movie this weekend, and I will have completed Barbenheimer.
Okay.
Do
you have already seen
I saw it.
Okay,
yeah.
dang it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of not having pleasure pathways.
I was going to say, I know, I was thinking about trying to do that Friday. I want to do it the same weekend. I want to have a Barbenheimer weekend. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. But like, it'll be interesting to see, because of these relationships that I've formed in this place that offer such intensity and depth.
Right.
Whenever I'm around these people outside, it's intensified.
I see that.
And I get it. Like whenever we walk into a restaurant together, we can we are shiny when we are around each other. I think so.
No, I see that. And then I see, even people who are not necessarily part of our circles, but are a part of our lives and reflect that back. So, for example, at your birthday party.
Yes.
That was super shy. I was like, as I was driving my car, because the party had started long before I got there. I had something else that night. And as I was driving,
came from something classical.
Yeah, I came from the symphony.
You did. I love it. She went from a symphony to a foam party. That is so you.
I know. Because of my circle, my friends. But I just remember driving up. I could hear a little bit of the music. It wasn't super loud, but I could hear the music. But what I felt was like the of the energy from the party. It was amazing, and it was like I was like trying to find the way in the house. It was like, I've got to get there. I've got to get there. I've got to get there. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Yeah. It starts out because of we're reinforcing it at our witchiness is reinforcing it for each other. But then, I would just suggest that maybe we attract people who are attracted to our witchiness. So I wouldn't say unwittingly or unwillingly, but maybe not with the intentionality that we have, participate in that as well.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed. Oh yeah, totally. So I think it's, if we, the next time we're in ritual, we have to think about our pleasure pathways and see how they're being stroked or enlarged or enhanced or whatever.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have that opportunity.
Yes, very soon. Exactly.
The phone call we got,
because it's on play.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And I even think too that this witchiness deepens and makes things fun or pleasurable that may not be because of the space it is done in. Things like shadow work and mystery work or personal work. Sometimes when I go to therapy, it feels like I'm getting punched in the face, but it's work I need to do. But somehow when I do that work in a witchy space, it can still be just as challenging, but there's something more pleasurable about it.
No, I totally get that. I think, we may have talked about this before, but this idea of delving into what could be threatening areas of our psyche, of ourselves, of our relationships in community, gives it, like you said, it doesn't make it feel good, but it makes it feel deep. And so on a certain level, and I think that's the difference maybe with witchy fun and mundane fun, is that it doesn't necessarily have to invoke those pleasure pathways in the same way. I think what it's actually doing is causing those pleasure pathways to maybe open up to the possibility that pleasure might be coming in from from just doing intense work. So it's kind of like that when I was saying I liked having had run. So that feeling is a part of going through that, knowing that you're going to get to that feeling of having done this really deep, intense work. And so you can kind of get like a pre glow of that while you're in the process, knowing that that reward, like it's like the rat hitting the lever so that they can do it. So it's you're like, yes, I'm going to have some of that. I'm going to have some of that. So in a way, you're starting to get a little bit of a foretaste of glory divine, right?
Yes, yeah.
If I might be allowed to use some of my Baptist terminology, but yeah, I think that's a big difference between witchy fun and maybe mundane fun as a whole. We see that there are select groups of people who recognize that reward. Athletes who will go through a lot of not fun, knowing that there's gonna be fun, but it's not a part of our community. It's not a part of our culture as a whole. Right. We say it is, but it's not really. It's not really. It's not. No. We say we hold that, and that's why we idolize athletes. That's why we idolize people who do go through these really tough, my hands up in the air, these really tough practices and stringent body things that they have to go through to be able to do that. We really admire them because we're like, we ain't doing that. So our culture is we ain't doing that. But in witchy circles, we're doing that.
We're doing that.
We're doing that. So first of all, if they actually accepted our paganism and witchiness, we would be like the ones that we'd be in all the magazines because everyone would love us because we're doing what everyone says they want to do, but they usually don't.
Yeah. Well, you brought up witchy fun and mundane fun. Maybe this is a good time where we could talk about things we enjoy doing for fun.
Yes!
In the mundane. Which, side note, I'm just going to say, I think fun is a sacred act. So
fun is a sacred act, yeah.
But I totally get what you mean. Like, fun in our sacred space versus like fun in my regular life sort of thing. So,
and for me, like you probably, they're going to be a lot the same.
There's
right?
a lot of overlap.
There's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
Because if it's fun, it's fun.
Yeah.
Regardless, regardless of the circumstances. So for me, I know this is probably going to be a big surprise, but making music.
What? No! Says the woman who drums a lot and sings a lot in our rituals.
but music. So I'm a pianist. Again, this is one of those things where, you practice, which is not fun because you want that moment where it's easy to play beautifully.
Oh yeah.
Right? But playing the piano, playing the ukulele, I play the viola da gamba now, so all of those instruments, just the sound that comes out of me and my instrument is transcendent for me. The act of doing it is also a part of that. It's like the hamster, I guess, on the wheel. Like I get endorphins from doing it, from my arm bowing and my hands on the piano. So making music, drumming, singing. One of the things when we were in Ireland, I was there because we were the choir in residence at St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin. And so every day every afternoon we did an evensong. And so, I mean, it's Episcopalian, Anglican, but this music is glorious. And I am just one voice among many making this music that's, so these cathedrals, they have like six second reverberation. So it's like, we sound like angels. We sound like angels. And it's, I can see how people going to these cathedrals would say, my soul is being saved.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So music for me.
Wow.
I continue.
Yeah. Keep going.
So, moving like with you. I like to dance. I like to hike. I've been gardening, not so much because it's 108 degrees.
Yeah, you cook outside,
and everything's brown anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But gardening. I love to cook. Which might not surprise you either. But, I love cooking from recipes. I love, just looking in my fridge and seeing, okay, this is what I've got. What can I do with it? And putting stuff together, throwing it together, and hopefully, in most cases, coming out with something really, really good. I love that. And I love crafting. My big thing is, the beauty of it is that some of it I do well, like crocheting I do well. Some of it not so well. And this is the one time I give myself permission to not be good. And that's with art and coloring and paints and stuff like that. So that's a lot of fun for me. What about with you?
I just love the way you say that, giving myself permission not to be good. Because it sounds like the mastery is not what's important. It's the experience.
It's the experience.
I love that.
Yeah. And after spending so many years of trying to master things, and I still do. I mean, I'm not, with the gamba, when I'm playing with other people, I really do want to sound decent. But that's one area where I can just okay, let's see what happens. Wow, that was not what I expected to happen, but okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Things that bring me joy. I find a lot of joy in deep study of things. So I don't do a lot of things casually.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I was like, okay, where's she going?
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
So I love to dance. I love to dance so much that I became a dance teacher and started.
Yes, you did.
Competing nationally in dance.
Yes. No. Unlike me, it's like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to see, go to the social dances and have a little fun. You're like, yeah, I'm going to start there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take all of these levels.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start teaching people.
And then I'm going to start competing.
And then I'm going to start competing.
Accumulating points so that I can move to the next level of competition. Yay! It's But I love it. And I've talked about in other episodes that I have a sacred experience when I'm dancing because I tap into the energy of all the people. It's the same thing as why I cry at the national anthem. People think I'm super patriotic. Really, I'm tapped into the energy. Yeah. So I tap into the energy of the hundreds and hundreds of people in the room. and they're all watching, they're all directing their energy into one point, and I tap into that, and it just transports me into this spiritual place. It's really beautiful. And to co-create something unique that will never be co-created again with someone, my partner, who I probably don't know because it's random matching, you know, so this person I've never met before, and we're creating art together in this moment that's unique, is just really a treat.
Yeah. And you're very, and it's so funny because when I think competitive, I don't necessarily think of you in that area, and I wonder what is the reward of doing the various levels and accumulating points. Well, I guess I can ask you, what is the what is the reward of doing the various levels and accumulating the points?
One part is the energy. Like, there's a lot of focus when it's competitive.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think there's more energy. Also, I don't do well with the social dancing because I like the rigidity of the competition. Like, you will stand in this line and you will be partnered with this person, and then that is the person you're partnered with, and it just takes a lot of like me having to figure stuff out of the equation.
There's control.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like it. Like, I'm like fiddling with my clothes. I don't like it in social dancing because then it's like the song ends and I look around the dance floor and I'm like, who the fuck am I going to dance with?
Gotta dance with next. Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
you know. But in social and in competition, it's structured.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, in social dancing, you stand in a circle, they roll a dice or whatever,
or they pull a name out,
and you move that many down, and that's who you're partnered with, and then you move more down, and that's who you're partnered with. Like, it's just,
I love that.
Yeah, it's very efficient. I like it. Or maybe not efficient, but in the moment, it's efficient. It's not efficient to like travel to.
Maybe not all of that. But I mean, in a way, in as much as you get immediate feedback, you actually get a lot more variety than probably if you were doing social dancing, because this is totally randomized.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not, you don't have to look a certain way so people will look at you and say, "Oh, I want to dance with her."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just people who are like you. It's like, I want to do the best job I can with whoever, is sent to me. And that's an energy. Right?
Exactly.
That's an
energy. Exactly. All right. Other things I like. I like doing acro, more body stuff.
I know, it's such a surprise.
It's like dancing. It's like a really hard practice that I have dedicated a lot of time and money to. But I like getting better. I like, my partner and I have traveled to California to train at a circus center there. We went to Las Vegas and trained at a circus center there. Like, we've worked with coaches. Like, there's something about something being really hard and then working with my partner, other people over a long period of time and getting so freaking frustrated to finally get it.
You're all in.
I am.
You're all
That's
in.
the problem with my hobbies. And you mentioned the endorphin rush. There's a grip called hand-to-hand grip. Can I show you what it is with your hands? So if you give me your hand, and we grip hands like we're shaking hands, but then you take your two fingers and you put them down the wrist. And then the outside two fingers go around the hand. And then you drag your fingers up like this. So this is hand-to-hand grip.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like how we do hand-to-hand, like standing skills. So when I do that grip with my partner, even not in an acro setting, it releases endorphins into my body.
I was going to say, because your fingers are on their pulse.
Yes.
And their fingers are on yours.
It's a very intimate grip.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right here on the underside of the wrist. Yeah. But I have trained myself through, a decade of doing acro, mostly with my partner, that like when I feel his unique, and it's only with him, it's not with other people, when I feel his unique pressure on my body, even not in an acro scenario, it releases endorphins into my body.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's some, like, I don't know, Pavlovian programming or something.
Yeah. Like you're like that rat.
Yeah, I am.
Or the slug or whatever.
I'm like that slug.
I know, it's like, now I want to find pictures of slugs, like, doing...
Right? I want to know how slugs work.
I was like slugs have pleasure. Let's take a moment. Slugs and snails feel pleasure. Like, isn't this world like this miraculous place to live?
I just love all acts of love and pleasure are their rituals. Like these
I'm
little
cry.
slugs are having a little ritual.
I'm gonna cry. I actually am sorry. It's like slugs.
Thank you for listening to Witchy, where we cry about slugs.
Oh my god! I might have to edit this out. But oh gosh, oh wow, yeah.
I don't want you to edit this out. This is beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
this is raw, candid, and vulnerable, just like our opening says.
Yeah, now I'm getting congested because I'm like trying to cry. Okay. Yeah.
I guess one other thing I want to say about things that I love. I love research and I love nonfiction things. So I love reading nonfiction books and I love doing research. I love applying that research to my life, which is one way is like cleaning.
Yes.
So I spend a lot of time researching cleaning and stuff like that. So
I remember you were doing laundry stripping for a while there.
Yes, I love laundry stripping. Like I researched that a lot.
I didn't really know what it was until you told me about it, and I went down that rabbit hole. It's like, oh my gosh,
it is. I love. I find that so fun. I find that so fun. And my master's degree is in psychology, and so I really enjoy reading nonfiction books around psychology and like The Body Keeps the Score and stuff like that.
Oh, I love that book. Yeah. Anyway, and now I love reading fiction. And so the reason I love reading fiction is because it takes me into these worlds that once I get there, they're very, very logical, but I couldn't have ever imagined them on my own. And listening to people who think, in many cases, I'm like, don't do that, don't fucking, oh my fucking God, they did that, but, just being in someone else's head, people who make decisions who are different from me, kind of living their lives for the course of that book, feeling their feelings, seeing their thoughts, their reactions, and letting that tell me something about me. Like, okay, I wouldn't do that. Now why? Or why is this part creeping me out? Or why am I so into this part? Because that gives me insight about me, and quite frankly, everything's about me. But
in your world, it is though. I mean, that's the truth, though.
Exactly. And so all of these things are ways that I am kind of doing something similar to you, but I'm doing it in a more amorphous kind of way. Maybe is that I'm getting a lot of information about interactions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just I think that writers, authors are these mystical, magical beings who create a world just for me to go in and play in for a couple of hours, right? A few hours, a few days. And they're just these, they're just wondrous, wondrous beings. And so I get a chance to experience some of that. I just think I love, and today is, what's today? August 9th?
Yes.
It's, Book Lovers Day. So happy Book Lovers Day, by the way. You're going to get this a few weeks later, but anyway. Yeah. So, but that opportunity to just kind of explore why I love the experience of reading a certain book is a part of the enjoyment of the book. Just, so anyway.
Yeah. I think one thing I'd like to say before we end is that, I hope our readers take an opportunity, and I'm speaking to myself. I said readers. I hope our listeners, including myself, remember to find the joy and the fun and the pleasure by breaking that spell of monotony, because we can all go and pound down a meal real fast, but it doesn't cost any extra to take a moment while I'm chewing whatever and feel the pleasure of whatever I'm eating. If it was that one ritual, cheese.
all the cheese.
All the cheeses.
All the cheese.
And it doesn't take me any longer as I walk from my car to the door to my classroom to look up and see the budding flowers in the tree and to feel that joy and the awe,
Oh, I think so.
So
I agree.
But the only thing keeping me from doing that is me.
Giving yourself permission.
Yes, yeah. Me getting stuck in that spell of monotony and every day, and just breaking that spell of the mundane and realizing that there is pleasure and joy and beauty everywhere.
I think we can learn a lesson from our dogs. Okay,
that's true. Have you seen the thing that the monks do a meditation with the dogs?
No.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, I'll have to look it up. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to yell in the but yeah, I'll have to investigate that. But that idea, we're gonna have to pay our bills. We're gonna have to do all this other stuff, do the things, the adult things. But we can also puppy. We can also play. We can also we can, write the bills, and we can sign it with a flourish with a pen that's made out of a quill or something.
Yeah.
We can. There are things that we can do that will allow us to inject fun into our day. Because I'm convinced that the average American does not have as much fun as they could be.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. I mean, I have tinsel in my hair.
Yes.
And the number of people who are like, why?
Why not?
Because it's sparkly.
It's sparkly, and I love sparkly.
And I love it.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, I'm 40 years old. I'm going to put tinsel in my hair.
When can you put tinsel in your hair if not when you're 40? Right?
I don't know. Like, it seems like whenever someone's like 12, they're like, that makes sense. But whenever I'm 40, they're like, why are you putting tinsel in your hair?
Because I'm 12 times 3.
Right? Because I've been 12 multiple times in a row, and I want tinsel in my hair.
That's right. Exactly. So, yes, one of the things that I would hope that would happen after listening to our podcast is that you'll think about, okay, what are the ways that I have fun? And then, like, double them in your day.
Yes.
Or in your life or in your week or whatever. Like, do those things more. Do the things more.
Yes.
Fun things.
And I would love to hear about it.
Yes.
Yeah, like if you take this as a call to action, double your fun, double your pleasure, double your fun. Something or other with double mint gum. Yeah. Not a paid sponsor.
No, not a paid sponsor.
But let us know, how are you choosing to find and create fun and joy and pleasure
in your life? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. We hope you have enjoyed the magic that has unfolded here at Witchy Wit.
It would be great if you would help make Witchy Wit possible and get access to exclusive content by donating on Patreon.
We'd love it if you join our Witchy community and enjoy shareable content on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Would you do us a big favor and support us by rating and reviewing us wherever you get your podcasts? It's free and helps witchy folks find us.
Feel free to email us at witchywitpodcast@gmail.com. We love to hear from our community. Reach out and let us know what's brewing in your cauldron.
New episodes are released every second and fourth Friday. Follow us on your favorite podcasting platform so our episodes go right to your playlist. You can listen as you ride your broom.
Stay witchy, y'all!